Good morning and welcome to this week's edition or episode of Monday Motivation. My name's Jenny Kovacs, and if you've never watched one of these before, I'm nicknamed the Queen of Being Seen because I help people in businesses, whether they're their own business or someone else's business, to stand out so that they can be seen and heard, and so that people can find them and find out more about their products. So this morning we're talking about place of possibility. So you're more than welcome to watch this either live or on the replay, but if you'd like to contribute, comment, ask any questions, just type in the box below and I'll say hi back. I'm not TV, so I like to interact with you. First off the block there is the lovely Alan. So Alan says good morning, so I'm waving back good morning. So one thing I'd love you to do, I think Monday mornings get a really bad rap. They're almost something that people dread, don't look forward to, and it's the start of the week. And what a way to start your week, which is why Monday Motivations were born in 2008. A long time now, 10 years old. And they started off when I worked in financial services. And I also noticed that Monday morning was really getting a really bad rap. So I started off by sending around a little motivational quote or saying just to pep people up. So if there's somebody that you know needs a little motivation, please share this either to your timeline. It could be that you share this to your business page if you have a business page, but you never know who of your Facebook friends or family might need a little bit of motivation this Monday and this week. So the place of possibility, why did I even choose this as a subject? Well, like most of the subjects that I choose on Monday Motivation, I choose them because they're either things that have come along in my life or things that clients have spoken to me about, or even sometimes friends. So today I wanted to talk about the place of possibility. So there's a lot of talk, 2018 has started and we're already in February and oh my gosh, the year's gone and Christmas is coming and all of that kind of stuff. But I also see a lot of people who maybe aren't coaches, maybe they're in the public eye and they want to encourage other people to do things. And their way of encouraging is to just get it done, go for it. And sometimes that's all well and good. And although true in some regards and some respects, it's not always just as easy as go get it done, And sometimes there are bridges to cross in between. So I wanted to speak about the place of possibility from some of my own experiences that I've had, and I hope that whatever's useful and great for me is useful and great for you too. So there are there's a lot of different people and lots of different facets of different people and how we show up, but there's three particular kind of levels, if you like, that I want to speak about. And I want to talk to you about this from a place of helping you to see where you might be at in this moment in time and where you're going to. And one of the things that I think is so sad about the personal development industry, I'm going to say it, as a coach, is that sometimes if people feel like they're on the top rung of the ladder, that they're making the people that aren't quite there yet wrong. They don't have the tenacity, they don't have what it takes. And that's not what personally developing yourself is all about. To me, personal development is looking at where you are at any time of a high or any time of a low. It's like when somebody hits a crisis and saying, just cheer up, stop being so miserable. We don't know what's got them there. So I hope that you drink this in with the love and with the care and attention that I have prepared it for. And as usual on a Monday morning, just as we get started, and it's getting lighter outside, I'm so happy, the dust cart comes in the background. So expect a little bit of background noise in just a second. So here are a couple of different places of possibility, and I want to share them with you because I want to let you know that like any type of sliding scale, sometimes we can be in one specific place or a different specific place. And for me, as a person, I want to empower you to know where you are at any given time. You don't need a guru, you don't need an expert, you don't really even need me to tell you where you are at any given time. You've got it within your hands, you've got it within your heart to be able to go for the place of possibility. And that could be, from not really knowing how your week's going to be. It could be from dealing with whatever life throws. So here's the first thing. Sometimes when we're on a place of possibility, it normally starts off with a wish, a desire, or a dream. And I don't want to make your wish, desire, or dream, or even intention wrong. What I want to encourage you to do is to get really clear on your intention, on your goal, on your desire, on your dream, whatever you would prefer to call it. It's neither wrong to call it one thing or right to call it something else. But we all know that when we want to do something, when we want to be something, when we want to achieve something, it always starts with a wish, a dream, or a desire. So don't make yourself wrong for having that dream, wish, or desire. Now, one of the first layers is I'm thinking about this thing that I want to do, and maybe it's not supposed to happen. And it's interesting because I'll share that, from just in the last kind of couple of weeks, I had a conversation with somebody about something that I do want to achieve, something that I want to do. And after having the conversation with them, I realised something. I kind of went into I went into this phase, which is why it didn't happen and hasn't happened. I went into oh my gosh, it's not supposed to happen. And it was interesting because the thing that I was discussing is something that I really want to achieve very dearly, really greatly. But after speaking to that particular person about it, my gut realised that it wasn't, it was something for me, but it wasn't about to happen with them. But because of the personal development and kind of looking at myself first, I bypassed the fact that my gut knows exactly what it wants. My gut knows exactly what it wants to do. And I spent a couple of hours, thankfully, not days and weeks, looking and saying, maybe it's not for me, maybe it's not supposed to happen. And here are three things that I reflected in myself and in some other people too. There's the bashing and clashing. So the first thing was signs. People say, I look for the signs. And you need to take care if you're in a place of, you make the decision, it's not supposed to happen to me. Because all the signs point to reinforcement. And if you yourself are not in the vibe of, anything other than it's not supposed to happen to me, those signs will act as reinforcements. You'll find yourself saying things like, yeah, that's a sign that it shouldn't happen, and you reinforce more. The other thing that you'll find is when you put yourself amongst people around you, you may find yourself in a place where they are actually agreeing, I don't think you should do that. I really think that you should kind of play it safe or do something else. And you might think that that is from an external point of view, that you're getting that sign tells me this, or this person, they agree with me, so fundamentally it's not the right thing for me to do. But actually, all that does is it enforces the belief that you're having about yourself that it's not supposed to happen. And then internally, the question or the place that the energy is being put within yourself is, I'm not sure if this is possible. And it was interesting to observe myself going through that cycle for a few hours until I realised, well, you know what? I've done more than this before. I've achieved more than this before. I've been that person that's done that thing before. So here's the second layer. The second kind of layer or level, you could be in the, how do I make this happen? Now that's a more empowering question, because you are asking yourself, how do I make this happen? That way you're negating the responsibility of the people around you who say that you should or shouldn't. You're negating the responsibility of looking for signs to validate the fact that you should or shouldn't. And you're taking the should and shouldn't out of it. So here are sort of three things, again, that I observe, both in myself and in some of the people around me, when you're going through the how can I make this happen phase. And just say it to yourself. There's no one around, is there? Just say, how do I make this happen? How can I make this happen? Okay. So one of the things that you may notice is that the signs now become new things, new ideas, new opportunities when you're working from a place of how do I make this happen, there is still some effort on your part. It's not necessarily 100% in flow, but you are now looking at things, ideas and opportunities. So instead of looking for signs as to whether you should or signs as to whether you shouldn't, you're now getting to see possibilities of what could work. Let me put this into a context. I remember many years ago there was an idea that was being floated around within a business that I was a part of, and there was a lot of talk of it'd be really great to do this. Wouldn't it be good if we were the first people to do this thing and that thing? And then it was like, well, I think we're going to need to leave a bit of time, get the right resources in and all this kind of stuff. A lot of reasons why they couldn't. So within a meeting, a proposal was put together and somebody said, well, you know what? Let's look at doing this within the next, and they gave a very short time frame. Let's have a look at getting this done within the next, I think it was something like 2 months or so. And then if we kind of, put all of our resources and energy to it, we will soon, get a feel for whether it can or can't be done. So that person within a very short space of time put that business in a place of possibility. They put the business in a place of, but how can I make this happen? And isn't it interesting that all the different moving parts start to happen, so that all of a sudden, all these things are possible. I'm just going to stick that up there to stop me from looking down so you don't see the top of my head. So all these things started to happen. And it was interesting because new ideas did come in and people started to act on those new ideas. There were new opportunities, and people with the filter of let's make this happen in a certain space of time, and like, how can we make this happen? They started to act differently and things started to move. All these seemingly difficult moving parts all started to fall into place and actually started to feel more in the flow. And this is what I mean about being in one particular place where it might seem impossible to another place where it feels like everything's possible. And then the other thing was that when you put yourself in a place of how do I make this happen, it's like one thing builds on another. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel bombarding. You just literally put one step in front of the other. It's a bit like climbing Mount Everest. You don't do it in one great big leap. You just put one foot in front of the other, in front of the other, and then before you know it, you've got to where you need to be. Have you experienced that? Have you got any stories that you could share to show others that, even if something doesn't seem like it's possible, that it can always grow? There's a dear lady, she hasn't commented on here yet, so I don't want to out you if you want to sort of, stay back. But I know that she's really awesome at helping people to write books, both fictional and non-fiction. And I'm sure that at many stages people come to her with all of the reasons why they can't. Like, it's not supposed to happen. I was settling down to write this book and then this thing happened. Or they may come to her with like, okay, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I want to make this happen. How can I make this book thing happen? And then we've got the lovely Alan, who was first up to say good morning. Now, Alan is a coach that helps people go from rough seas to calm waters. And by doing the rough seas to calm waters, people, I'm sure, when they get to Alan, are not in the it's not supposed to happen phase. They're probably starting to see like, well, maybe there's a possibility. How could I make this happen? So, hey, Dale's on. Hello, the lovely Dale, darling. I didn't want to out you if you were having a bit of downtime. So the lovely Dale Darley is the lady that I was just talking about, who's really, really great with helping you to get your book out there. And people often focus about getting the book out there, but they don't focus on the process of writing the book in a fun and really hilarious and lovely way. So shout out to you, Dale. So I know that between you and between Alan and many of you other gorgeous vibers and people that have been commenting on these Monday motivations, one gentleman who comments on these and it's like Monday evening in New Zealand, some of you it's very late night in America, so thank you so much for all of you who watch and contribute and take part in this. So if you're in the how can I make this happen piece, one of the things about yourself that you'll be looking at is the belief that, how can I do this? So rather than going, it has to be in the flow, it's all or nothing, why not look at, okay, so now I've done this next bit, Here's how I can build on that. You know, here's how I've now outlined what I want to put in my book. So what comes next? Well, a chapter's going to come next, maybe not all 12 in one piece. So start to build on those bit by bit by bit. So, oh, Dale, I just missed your comment. So then there's another final layer that I'm going to quickly share with you. And I'm just going to read your comments. So Dale said, it's okay, I'm going to work today, a bit more energy, taking time out with my latest healing journey. That's cool. I'm glad that you're doing that. So, and hello to those of you that have popped on. Oh, we've just had Sophie's on. She says, hi Jenny and the lovely Namisha. Good morning. Good morning, lovelies. Thank you for joining us. And I was just saying to the others that were on, you never know who needs a bit of Monday motivation. You never know out of your friends or your family or Facebook connections. So after watching this video, I'd love you to share it, because Monday motivations is to stop Mondays from getting a bad rap. So the third place of possibility. So the first one I talked about is I'm not sure it's supposed to happen. The second is, how can I make this happen? And here's the third. The third is, it's already happened. And I know for a fact that we have all experienced a level of this, where there's something that we wanted to do, something we wanted to achieve, and without missing a beat, in our heads, in our hearts, we've gone straight to it's done. I'm there. It could be, you know, I've heard people say, you know, things like, oh, I saw this competition, I entered it, and I don't know what it was, I entered it and I just knew that I'd win it, and I won it. It's that kind of energy of, right, putting yourself, allowing yourself to be in a place of absolute possibility. Everything's possible, everything's going to happen. And this is where you're saying to yourself, you know, the signs are now a distraction. You're not even looking for signs, because you're pulling yourself off the path. You're like, this has happened, it's already happened, it's done. So now you're not looking for validation from outside sources, you're not looking for signs. And as you're going down your journey and you're kind of on that mission, you might even notice something that validates it, but you're no longer spending your time or energy looking for signs. You're not spending your time or energy looking for validation of that from other people. Even if it seems kooky, even if it seems like, well, no one else is doing this, you're now on this mission, you're on this forward momentum, and you're just doing it anyway. The next thing that you notice about yourself is that everything, because you're like, it's done, it's already happened, everything within you just feels like the next step. Okay, so now I've taken this next step. What's next? How am I doing it? You know, what's going to happen? You notice that a whole myriad of opportunities open up, from other things that you can do to the next step, you know, the process to get you there. This is the next place, this is the next place. And that all comes from within. It's almost like you're more trusting of your gut to know what the next piece is. You're not looking or hanging on to other people's words. And you'll notice that when people are in a place of possibility, it's not always easy to articulate that they're there, but it's the vibe that you feel. Like you feel, you're almost like you feel the fire in their belly, you feel it in their gut. And you just sense something that's very different about them. And when you put yourself in that place of possibility, you put yourself in the place of it's already happened, you'll notice that these things will start to go on. You'll notice that you reflect in the places that you need to reflect, and that you go for it in the places that you need to go for it. You'll also notice that normally the decision, when you know it's already happened, there is kind of, it doesn't feel like there's a decision. You just go for it. You don't feel like you need to sleep on it. You might make the decision and say, this is exactly what I want. I remember a few years back, something seemingly for me being out of reach. And I said, you know what, it's done. That it's already happened wasn't me trying to affirm or talk myself into it. It really had, in my mind, already happened. So in my mind, because that had already happened, the preparation started for it. I just did one thing after another. There wasn't the kind of the need for the self-affirmation of talking myself into it. So identify your place of possibility, where you are in the place of possibility. Identify what you're doing in that place of possibility. And, you know, it's really important to make sure that you're crystal clear, because if there's any element of doubt within yourself, people around you, things around you may knock you off your perch. They might make you feel wronged, and everything is truly possible. And despite what anybody might tell you, possibility always starts with a thought, a dream, a wish. It's just where you dwell. Do you sit in that wish? Do you sit in that dream? Do you regurgitate it? Do you drag it out? Or do you just go for it? Do you just know that the word impossible says itself? I'm possible. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Monday Motivation, and something a little bit different given the conversations that I've had in the last few days even, and in the last few weeks. What I would ask you to do is to continue the conversation in the Visibility Vibes Tribe. If you don't know what that is, it's a really lovely closed group, which means that your friends, your family, your Facebook friends don't get to see the conversation you're having unless they're part of the group too. It's a group of over 700 really juicy, gorgeous people, and it's, I think, one of the softest places to land on Facebook. So do continue the conversation in there. Let us know how you're motivating yourself, how you're motivating others, or if you need some motivation for yourself. We'll all give you what's known as a virtual hug. But for those of your friends and family that you don't know what they're going through, or whether they do need to know that what they can do is possible, then I'd love you to share this on your timeline, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful Monday. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.